And yes, this is much later from the previous part of the video, but yes, I've gotten more books this summer, so yeah, let's see what I got. First, this book was given to me by the author. It's an indie self-published book called Cradle by C.A. Cascabel. I have helped beta read this book while it was before it was published, and I found it a fascinating book. It was not exactly my cup of tea. So this is a pandemic thriller. It's pretty realistic. The author had done quite a lot of research. I know the author from his previous book, Dragon. It was a 4-part green dark fantasy epic, probably one of the best fantasy books I've read. And this one is pretty fascinating. It's setting race in 2022, and it's about a pandemic breaking out throughout the world, and we have 3 women epidemiologists. I'd say a vigilante, but this is basically the other one is the girl with the dragon's tattoo out in Greece, alright? And also there is a teenager that is Syrian, this is a refugee, and it gets into refugees, it gets into pandemics, corrupt governments, and also there is a subplot that moves forward into the future, where we have a descendant of the main characters trying to uncover what happened back then, and also chapter 1 starts in media res with one of the protagonists killing somebody. We don't know who it is. It's a pretty dense book. It has a lot of irons in the fire, but somehow it juggles all of them. It's more on the literary than the genre side of things, so probably that's why it wasn't my cup of tea, because I'm basic in genre bits. Now, let's get to some quality literature, right? So Morse Hudson, I stumbled upon this in a used bookstore. It's Exit Wounds, and I think that it's not a horror novel. I think it's a very violent crime novel. It's about a Jamaican gangster who comes to London, and he has to deal with other crime lords, so I guess it will be fun trash. It's on Hudson. Also on the same bookstore, I found Order's Speaker for the Dead by Oscar Scorecard. It's the sequel to Ender's Game. I have yet to read Ender's Game, but I'm planning to, so yeah, why not have the sequel? And also I got this omnibus of Marion Zimmer Bradley, Heritage and Exile. It's 2 of her darkover novels, The Heritage of Hastur and Sarah's Exile. It's sequel, and I've read that The Heritage of Hastur is one of her most reviewed works. I have not read any Marion Zimmer Bradley, and I would like to give her a try, so I'm going for it. And then I ordered this book from Amazon UK, Incarnate by Ramsey Campbell. It's a book I once had and lost during a move, so I wanted to give it a read. I'm not the biggest Ramsey Campbell fan, but I really want to give this book a try. I think that Ramsey Campbell is a bit too subtle for my horror tastes, but I keep hearing that this book is great, and yeah, I would love to read it. And it's 500 pages long, so yeah, it's definitely a book I want to read. Now I got some more books from that collector that is hauling from his bookshelves. One more Graham Mastodon novel, The Burning. It's about a guy whose fiancée burns herself to death and smiled as she died. And there are a lot of strange deaths by fire, like a busload of people burning themselves. And there is something about salamanders and Fourth Reich. You know what, this book, the description for it sounds insane. It's a 1991 Graham Mastodon book, so I guess the violence will be over the top. And yeah, I mean, just look at the tail on the cover. That's a swastika with a salamander on it. So this is going to be a treat. Oh yeah, well, talking about this book, I had this nagging suspicion that I already had it, and yeah, it's probably the same book with different titles. The Burning by Thor, the US version, and The Hymn from Warner Books, and I guess that's the UK version. Yes. US, UK, I've got both. And I like this cover more. You know what? I decided that if you're in Greece and you want this book, this American version of The Hymn, then leave a comment below saying that I want this book, and I'll give it away. It may be yours. You have 2 weeks to do that. 15 days after this video is published, I'll run a lottery for someone lucky to get it. I'm not sure exactly when this video is getting published because I've been filming it in fragments throughout the summer because I keep getting books like this one, The Ceremonies by t.e.d, a book I want to read for years and years. I actually had this book a long time ago, and as I was moving away from where I was staying back then, I gave it away because I couldn't get all my books together. So I ordered again, and this is about an ancient evil being returning to the world again in corporeal form or something. I'm not sure. I know that this is somewhat similar to Jack Ketchum Sea Wakes, because he said that those two books came about the same time and they had very similar premises. So yeah, I guess I don't believe there will be Greek zombies in this one, but Ted Klein has written very few works, and this one is considered a classic, so it's definitely going up in my TBR. And yeah, speaking of more books, I had somebody who I know give away more books, so I got a lot of them. I got The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King, his fantasy novel, and the reason why he wrote Misery because his fans were like, that's fantasy, that's not horror, we hate it. So yeah, I'm not sure when I'm reading this one. I got The Return of the Deep Ones by Brian Lumley. Brian Lumley is not my favorite author of all time, but I'm curious to read some of his mythos stories. I think these are short stories. So there is a novel called Beneath the Moors, a short story called Inception, and a novella Lord of the Worms. So yeah, Lumley tends to be more action-oriented horror. He is more like Robert Howard, I'd say, in his horror stories, meaning that the protagonist actually has a sense against the creatures of the dark or whatever. So yeah, that's not exactly what I love about his books, but I'll give him another shot. I think he's worth it. I've read the Necroscopes, a couple of Necroscope books this year. I've grown to appreciate some of the things he does, but enough blathering, let's get to more books. This book, Books of Blood, volumes 1 to 3. I've got this book by Clive Barker, but I always want the originals, not the translated versions, so I jumped at the opportunity to get it, so I got it, and looking forward to rereading the stories in the original text. And I'm thinking that throughout the year, this year and the next year, I'll go through each and every story and make a video about it. I've already got videos about In the Hills, the Cities, I believe. Maybe, I'm not sure if I have done a video about the Midnight Meat Train, but yes, I'm planning to do a video per story. throughout the next year and a half. So expect that. This one I've also read with World. However, I actually got this book for someone else, and I read it and then gave it away. And I want to give it a reread at some point, or I just want to have it because it's not exactly my favorite Clive Barker book, but oh boy, that's an amazing novel. And then I also got Abarat books 1 or 2, which they're heavy. I think they may be first editions or something, I'm not sure, because that guy has a lot of older books or something, but boy, this book feels premium. The paper is thick, there is illustrations. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading those 2 books too. At some point, they're definitely not a priority, and I believe by this point I have every Clive Barker book except for Galilee and the 3rd book of Abarat. I haven't read all of them, but I should probably rectify that, I guess. And last but not least, I have 4 books that I've been looking for quite some time. So when I was told that yes, I've got them and I want to sell them, I was like, give them to me now. And this is Bloodstone by Karl Edward Wagner, and also Death Angel's Shadow by Karl Edward Wagner, and Night Winds. And finally, a book I have read, Darkness Weaves. And in case you're unfamiliar with Karl Wagner, he was a very influential horror author, a great anthologist. He passed away, I think, in the late 90s. But he is also very well known for his fantasy hero, Cain, who is cursed to be an immortal and roams the earth throughout the ages, and he is an evil magician swordsman. He's like evil Conan. And yeah, I mean, I have a soft spot for his short stories. Darkness Weaves he has written 3 novels with Cain, and Darkness Weaves is one of them. I was not super impressed by it, to be honest. I know Bloodstone is another, and then there is Dark Crusade I'm not having, but Death Angel's Shadow and Night Winds are short story collections. And actually, Night Winds features one of my favorite sword and sorcery stories ever, Undertow. And also, yes, there is Lenorti's Reprise and To Sun Setting. Yeah, it's definitely worth reading. I know the Kindle versions of these books, and yeah, Karl Wagner, his kind stories are frisky. So yeah, I believe these are all the books I've gotten this summer. But yeah, maybe it won't be, because I'm in a kick. I'm getting books like books are running out. So let's see, but I'm getting all those people who are clearing their bookshelves, and I have to jump up the opportunity and get them. And some books are getting harder and harder to find. So there is this. 10 years ago, I assumed books would be available everywhere. So I gave away some, I skipped some, and I was wrong, because I wasn't expecting that people would start looking for older books or something. Tell me, what books did you get this summer, and which one you're more excited for? Alright, I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching.